I bet you're not using ChatGPT to its fullest power. I use it all day, every day. So my team and I put together a list of every use case we could think of, and this is going to power up your life. I'm going to be showing you all of these tips using ChatGPT, but you can use any model that you want. Claude, Gemini, open source models like DeepSeek, and this video is brought to you by our fantastic partners at Vultr. More on them later in the video. All right, so first, coding, what AI right now is most useful for. You can code anything from simple scripts to use on your computer to full applications. Let me show you one that I just made. Create a drawing app that uses hand tracking using my camera as the UI. I'm using O3 Pro for this. Obviously, you need a paid ChatGPT account, but you could probably do this with any free AI out there. So it thought for 2 minutes and 44 seconds, gave me the code. Here it is, and let's give it a try. Okay, so here it is. Here's the hand tracking. When I do a peace sign, I can go up to the top right and select a color. Let's select pink, and there you go. We can draw on it any which way you like. And this is a very simple version. Took me 30 seconds to create, but you can create so much cool code using AI, toy apps like this, serious productivity apps. And Alex actually creates scripts to help with file organization. Alex, show them.
Yep. So as somebody who edits videos all day, I use scripts to help me delete some of the files to clear up some of my storage more efficiently. But to be honest, I don't know how to write those scripts myself. So I use AI to make those scripts for me. So I just basically showed ChatGPT my file structure for every video that we edit. And I said, hey, I just want to delete all of the raw footage folders across every project in my main folder. And it gave me a script to run to do just that. Then I wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally delete any of the raw footage from something I'm still working on and haven't ingested yet. So I said, is there any way to delete the raw folders of videos only more than 1 month old? And it gave me an entirely new script. It wants me to replace this line right here with the path to my main folder. So I just took a screenshot of what that path looked like and ChatGPT filled it in for me. And as you can see here, it worked. All right, back to you, Matt.
Next, contract and legal document review. I use this all the time. Anytime that I get an NDA to sign or any kind of contract, the first thing I'm doing is throwing it in ChatGPT and asking if there's anything crazy in it or anything non-standard. And if there is, how to negotiate it. So here's an example. We have a basic non-disclosure agreement. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's the basic NDA, definition of confidential information, exclusions from confidential information, obligations of receiving party, and so on. I don't want to read all of this for every single contract I get. The first thing I do is just to make sure that it's legit and there's nothing crazy in it. Once I get a little further into the process, that's when I read it. That's when I consult a human lawyer, saving myself time and saving money by not immediately going to lawyers for everything I receive. So what I did is I uploaded the PDF and I said, review this NDA. Tell me if there are any non-standard terms, and if so, how I should negotiate the language. So it came back with, here are the non-standard or missing items: indefinite confidentiality, marking requirement, non-compelled disclosure carve-out, unilateral, use restriction is vague, return of materials, no governing law or venue clause, and so on. Then at the bottom, it says how to negotiate. Redline the agreement with the changes above, tie your edits to standard practice, keep business stakeholders copied so legal slows things down less. Now, what I can do from here is simply say, okay, give me item by item exactly how I should negotiate it. So I typed it out. I'm going to hit enter, and here we go. And it's typing out the language exactly how I should send it to the counterparty to negotiate the terms of this NDA. And it's super useful for this, and really for anything. If you get any type of job contract, or basically any contract ever, even if you're agreeing to terms of service, you just simply load it up into ChatGPT and say, tell me anything that's crazy in it. And speaking of negotiation, ChatGPT will help with that. A lot of people struggle to negotiate. They don't want that conflict. They don't even know how to draft language to negotiate. And I get it, it's hard. But ChatGPT and other AI systems can help you, not only with knowing what is the appropriate amount of negotiation to actually do, but to help you with the language of the negotiation. So check this out. I received a job offer, but want to negotiate for more. Can you help me? Here's the offer. Now I can easily put in more information here, like here's my role, here's how much experience I have, here's how much I was making previously, any of that. I kept it simple for here. So company, SynthLogic AI, this is just made up, senior AI product manager, base salary, annual bonus, equity, signing bonus, and yes, here's the negotiation response. So this is what I was offered, and I asked it to write up a negotiation for me. Thank you for the offer. I'm genuinely excited about the opportunity at SynthLogic AI and the impact I can have in this role. Before moving forward, I'd like to discuss a few elements of the offer. Base salary. Based on my experience and market benchmarks for senior AI product managers, I was expecting something closer to 185,000. Equity, I appreciate 30,000. I want 40,000. Signing bonus. And yeah, it's pretty generic right now, but again, you can get as specific as you want, especially when you receive an actual offer and you know yourself, you know your history, you know your worth. It'll help you figure all of that out. I use this pretty often. And if you want to try any of these use cases using open source models, Vultr is a great option. Let me tell you about them. Vultr is the world's largest independent cloud provider, and they've been a fantastic partner to us. So I'm really excited to tell you about them again today. So if you need to provision GPUs, whether you're just tinkering on your own AI project or you're scaling up to production, Vultr is the place to go. They offer the latest AMD and NVIDIA GPUs, spanning 32 locations across 6 continents, so you're going to get the lowest latency. They also offer industry-leading price to performance with serious accessibility and reliability. So with Vultr's global, fully composable cloud infrastructure, you move your applications closer to your users and frees you from vendor lock-in, which you know I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. They also have Vultr Kubernetes engine, which allows you to scale beyond just a single container. So if you're tired of waiting in line for other GPU providers, check out Vultr today. They're offering my viewers $300 in credits for your first 30 days when you visit getvultr.com/Berman. And remember to use code Berman300. Thanks again to Vultr. Back to the video. All right, here's one that I use all the time, and I suspect not many people use it, and this is for life advice. I know not a lot of people use it because Anthropic just reported that the total use cases for kind of life advice and life help and self-help, all of that stuff accounts for only 2% of their total usage, which is nuts to me because I really find so much value in this type of use case and thinking through life situations that I need to solve or come to a decision on that are very difficult. Here's one. And this is a real one, by the way. I'm considering moving from LA to the Bay Area and trying to decide if it's the right move. I lived in the Bay for 10 years and work in tech, currently building a media company focused on AI. Being closer to the epicenter of AI could help with networking and growth. I recently bought a house in LA and have a great setup here, including space and proximity to family. We're also building an ADU for my parents. Cost of living would go up, that's if we moved, and we'd likely have to move farther away from SF to get a comparable home. I'd also want my parents to relocate. Ask me anything you need to help assess this decision. So very open-ended, difficult decision that I am going to have to make eventually. And I want AI to help me think through all of the things that I should be thinking about when I'm coming to this decision. So it asked me, how many in-person meetings per month do you actually need in the Bay for networking and deal flow? Could quarterly 2 to 3 day trips cover those meetings instead of a full move? Budget for the Bay Area home, minimum lot size. Will you keep, rent, or sell your existing house? School priorities for your 8-year-old? Is your spouse's work flexible? And so on. So I answered all of these questions. It gave me different options for housing, obviously super expensive in the Bay Area, commuting to AI events in SF, school quality, and it gave me some other ideas to think about. So networking reality, weekly AI meetups and hack nights are already scheduled across SF, Palo Alto, and Oakland. 4 to ship flagship conferences per year. And if you live in the East or North Bay, count on 1 to 2 hour round trip to most evening events. Cost and logistical impacts, parents' daily help, travel alternatives, decision snapshot. And I can basically just ideate with AI on this problem like, oh, I actually didn't put as much emphasis on the travel time. Maybe I need to move a little bit closer to SF, or I didn't really value how much I love being in Los Angeles. Why don't you put some more weight into that? And again, it's zero risk to have this conversation with AI. So any life situation that you need some advice on, AI is fantastic for it. Just remember, there are times where AI can be sycophantic, meaning it will essentially agree with much of what you say, even if it's not necessarily in your best interest. So make sure you're prompting it correctly. Make sure you say stuff like, give me honest advice. Don't just say yes. Tell me what you really think. And you can actually have an entire spectrum of advice. You can say, okay, you're a yes man. Give me your advice. Or you are an eternal pessimist. Give me your advice. So you can have the AI take on different roles and give you advice based on those roles. Super helpful. Highly recommend this use case. Next is image analysis. And this is another one that I use all the time. So here's an example. I have a picture of this apple and I'm going to ask, what type of apple is it? Obviously, very simplistic use case, but you can imagine some more complex use cases for your day-to-day life. So what type of apple is this? Gala apples, characteristics, yellow and light orange base color. And yes, that is correct. Red or pink vertical striping. But yeah, I use image analysis all the time. I take pictures of my plants and say, why does it look like that? Am I doing anything wrong? And it gives me recommendations. I take pictures of things that are broken in my house and ask, how do I fix that? There are just so many. Another thing it's really good for is geoguessing. This is kind of image analysis as well. Check this out. So I uploaded a picture from Google Maps. This is Catalina Island, a random photo, and said, where is this picture taken? It thought for 58 seconds. It zoomed in to different parts of the image. And the answer, overlooking Little Harbor on Santa Catalina Island, California, and it gave me the exact coordinates. And it was right. And this is a fantastic use case if you want to try out geoguessing, which is just fun, or if you actually need to know where someone is located, something is located based on a photo. All right, next is image generation. And the amount of different use cases within this category alone is huge. So here are just some of the stupid and fun examples that I've done. So I wanted to create Pokemon-like cards for top AI researchers, and I just wanted to see what that would look like. So here's one. Yeah, silly, but I had fun with it. I was showing my son image generation and he was blown away. So of course he wanted to see a rocket powered building, and here's what it came up with. He loved it. Here I wanted some designs to use on different mugs and water bottles and so on. And by the way, check out our merch down below. It also can create memes. So I said, create me a meme with InSync saying bye, bye, bye when the market is down. There we go. It also helps generate thumbnails with my face on it. Even though I don't have 3 hands, it otherwise looks decently good. And of course, the Ghiblification of everything. And we can do it in different styles: Minecraft, anime, Simpsons, South Park. So really cool stuff. Play around with image generation. There are a million different use cases for it. All right, next is image editing. And this is one Alex does all the time for images in our videos. So I'm gonna let him show you exactly what he does. Alex?
Yeah, I use ChatGPT to edit images all the time. Almost every single video we make has some sort of image in the intro or some sort of thumbnail image. And ChatGPT makes a lot of the backgrounds. It makes some of the faces. And here's a really fun example of one of the ones that I made. I found this image on Twitter, which basically was just somebody showing off something they did with ChatGPT to make a cool picture. I basically just took a screenshot of it, told ChatGPT to grab me the prompt, and I tried it out with myself, and it made this image. This is cool, but it wouldn't look very good on a thumbnail. So I asked ChatGPT to change the prompt to make it less of an overhead image, and also to use Sam Altman's face here for the thumbnail. The first option it gave me was pretty good actually, but this was a little too red for what I was looking for, and I also didn't love that there was this background here. So I said, let's remove the red tones and make him look normal colors. And for the background, let's make it simple and contrasting. Yeah, you don't even have to use like proper English. Just whatever you're thinking, ChatGPT will usually understand it. And yeah, this image right here that it created of an angry Sam Altman is the image we used for this thumbnail right here. Pretty cool, right? One more example of image editing is anytime you see like a logo in the intro, that oftentimes is something that ChatGPT has made, because usually when OpenAI releases a product, they use this very like wide image here, and that honestly wouldn't look very good in an intro. So I say use this as a reference image, make me an image using a similar background and font that says OpenAI and below it Codex. And there we go. It really is as easy as that. All right, back to you, Matt.
And another thing AI is really good for is translation. It's actually one of the things it's best at. So here's an example. We're going to combine translation and image analysis. So in this picture, I have a sign written in Japanese. I don't know what it says, probably stop, but we'll see. And I'm simply going to copy it, upload it to ChatGPT and say, what does this sign say? And just a few seconds later, it says, the sign says tamare, which means stop in Japanese, a standard stop sign. So very cool. You can do translation if you have a book in another language, a PDF in another language, simply upload and say translate it. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% accurate. That's not how language works, but it'll be really close and directionally correct. And another use case that I use all the time is transcription. I like to write things, and I have this little writing device called the Remarkable. So I write out a bunch of notes on it, and then I want to transcribe those notes. So I paste it into ChatGPT and have it transcribe it for me. Here's an example. So over the weekend, I spent some time thinking about new model tests and different categories of model tests that I want to use specifically for when the next frontier model comes out. And so I wrote down a bunch of examples, but now I wanted it transcribed. So I simply uploaded the PDF. I said, transcript this. I didn't even write it correctly. And there it is. It has it all done perfectly. I use this all the time. Next is advanced voice mode. So what I have done is I've mapped advanced voice mode to my phone, to the side button right here. I hold it down and I can ask it any questions, including giving it access to my camera. I do this all the time when I'm out and about. Sometimes I'll come across a snake in my neighborhood. I'll open it up, take a picture and say, what kind of snake is this? Other times, in this example, I'm growing tomatoes and I say, how's this tomato plant doing? Now, it was a video and it doesn't actually show the video here, but I did do it. And it says, it looks pretty healthy. The leaves are green and I can see some flowers forming. Just make sure it's getting enough water and sunlight. And so I use advanced voice mode all the time, including having it teach me things. Why did the Roman Empire fall? Tell me why in basic terms in 30 seconds.
The Roman Empire fell for a combination of reasons: political instability, economic troubles, military defeats, and invasions by barbarian tribes. Over time, these issues just weakens the empire until it couldn't sustain itself anymore.
What's one lesson from the fall of the Roman Empire that I can apply to my life today?
One big lesson is the importance of adaptability and resilience. Just like the Roman Empire struggled when it couldn't adapt to new challenges, staying flexible and open to change can help you navigate whatever life throws your way.
So I'll get in the car, I'll sync my phone to my Bluetooth, and I will just have conversations with AI, having it teach me things. And it's not just a one-way lesson. It's not just listening. You can actually dive into different topics and ask follow-up questions and go more granular in some areas and skip over others. And it is such a fantastic way to learn. So if you don't already have it, I highly recommend you map your quick action button to some kind of voice mode. It doesn't matter if it's Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude, Perplexity, anything. It is such a fantastic way to just have quick access to AI, asking questions, having it teach you stuff, or any of the other use cases that we've been talking about today. Next is deep research. And in this example, I've actually combined a bunch of different use cases into one. So one, I took a bunch of notes as I thought about risk, life risk, different types of risk, how much risk you should take. And I had a bunch of questions. I've just been thinking about this subject a lot lately. And so I took the PDF and I said, transcribe this document, then help me think through the answers to the questions. It's all about life risk. So it thought for 44 seconds. I was using O3 and it starts to give me some information. Here's the transcript. So what kind of risks are there? These are all notes that I took. What risks do people not take that they should? How does age affect the answers to these questions and so on? It gave me answers to all of them with references to studies, to articles. Then in O3 Pro, I said, go deep into these questions. Think about it holistically. Find and reference research studies where applicable. Come up with novel ideas about risk. It thought for 30 minutes. And it came up with some really good ideas here. Now, obviously, O3 Pro is paid, and you need the highest tier plan to get it, I believe. But again, a lot of this stuff you don't need the highest tier for. You could probably get away with any of the thinking models, many of which are available for free. Then I had it do deep research mode. So I said, dive deeper into it. Here's everything you've told me. It asked me a bunch of follow-up questions. I said, just go. And it did deep research, sourcing from 33 different sources. And it gave me a bunch of information and I read it and it was super interesting. So deep research on any topic is very, very valuable. If you're not already using deep research, I highly recommend you do. I believe Perplexity has deep research for free. And deep research can be used for a ton of different use cases. Sometimes if you want to upload a bunch of your own personal information to it and say, okay, I need to research on this topic based on my personal information or this set of documents that I'm showing you, give me all the research you can find on this specific topic and and it does that. Next is basic search. And really, there are so many free options for this use case: ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini. And here's an example: how to pick out a cantaloupe. This may have been something you typed into Google previously. Then you get a bunch of ads, and then you click through to different websites trying to find that information, and you get somebody's life story instead of the actual information you're asking about. But now you get the information right away. I have transitioned to using AI for search on almost every single query that I have. So let's look at the answer. Check the smell, sniff the stem end. The ripe cantaloupe should smell sweet and floral. If there's no smell, it's underripe. Inspect the color, feel the weight, touch the texture, examine the netting. And you can ask it anything. 9 times out of 10, using AI for search is better than using traditional search. The only exception to that is if you know the destination of where you're trying to go, but you just can't find it. An example is, okay, I know this hotel I want to stay at has a website, but I just don't remember what the website is. And you could just type that information and you're going to get there more quickly using traditional search than AI. Anything else, go to AI. And one that Alex uses all the time is helping him with color correction settings.
Yep, pretty much everything we shoot, we color correct in some way. And if you've ever edited videos before, this can be one of the most annoying processes. So instead of doing it by hand, I just take a screenshot of Matt or the person he's interviewing, or even myself for this video, and I just ask ChatGPT, if you were to use Lumetri color, that's just the effect in Premiere that allows you to do color correction. To correct this shot, what exactly would you do? And yeah, then ChatGPT walks me through exactly what to do to make this shot look like this shot. Looks pretty dang good, right? And you can always go back in and manually adjust anything that you want to change on your own, because obviously you might have different preferences than what ChatGPT has. But yeah, this one's something that I use all the time for more than just color correction. If I ever don't know how to do something, if I Google it, there's usually things like ads. And even if I find the thing that I'm looking for, then you have to scroll through the website to find it. And this just makes it so much easier. All right, back to you, Matt.
Next is recipes. Give me a recipe for pork belly made in an Instapot with Japanese flavors. And of course, that's easy for it to do. And I say, looks like I don't have all of these ingredients. I have tamari, soy sauce, rice vinegar, toasted sesame oil, and so on. So it gives me a simplified version. I actually made this. It was delicious, very easy to do. Now, another thing you can do is take a picture of your fridge, take a picture of your ingredients and say, take a look at this image. Let me know some options for dishes I can make based on these ingredients. And that I've done as well. So here's an example. I have a picture of a fridge. This isn't mine, but a picture of all these ingredients. And I say, based on what I have in my fridge, please come up with an easy recipe for dinner tonight. Strawberry Greek yogurt egg bowl. And it gives me the exact recipe for that. It also asks me if I want a savory version instead. I say yes, and it gives me that too. Very easy way to only get recipes based on what you have in your fridge. It's also super good if you want recipes that are tailored for specific diets. So I follow up and I say, now give me a recipe for a keto diet. And again, I'm using 4.0 for this, so it would be free for you. So ingredients from your fridge, there we go. And it gives me a specific keto diet recipe. And next is writing. I have AI help me with all types of writing, whether it's ideating through YouTube titles, writing descriptions for YouTube videos, some creative writing. I have it help me write some emails, and it's good at all of that. I think sometimes it struggles with truly creative writing, but if you're doing anything in the professional sense, it is really good at that. So here's an example. Write an email to my boss telling them I have an idea for a new business line and I want to meet with them to propose it. I'm using GPT 4.0 for this, and let's see what it does. So subject, hi, I've been developing an idea for a new business line that I believe could be a strong growth opportunity. I love to set up a time. Let me know when you have 20 to 30 minutes available this week or next. Best, Matt. All right, next, I thought this was pretty unique. I actually used ChatGPT to keep a list of all the movies I've seen, plus my ratings for it, and then I ask it to give me movie recommendations whenever I want to watch something. Here's how I did that. I want you to keep track of all the movies I've watched and how I rate them, and then suggest movies to me. Start listing popular movies to start. I'll give you a score 1 to 10, or if I haven't seen it. Here are some movies. I start giving it rankings. And I do that for a while. So this was kind of the initial setup. And when I gave it my initial rankings, So back and forth. And all the way at the bottom now, anytime I watch a movie, I tell ChatGPT about it. It keeps a ranking for me. And now it will recommend movies. And so I say, recommend a sci-fi movie for me. I've already told it not to recommend movies I've already seen. And so let's see what it says. So Predestination 2014 gives me a description of what the movie is like. And I already said I liked Looper and The Matrix. This lands in between. Let me know if you watch it. So another really cool use case you may not have thought of. Obviously, not only can you do movies, but you can also do books, magazines, articles, plays, basically any type of content that you're going to consume. You can ask for recommendations and for it to track how you like each thing and to give you recommendations based on that. All right, another one is using it for medical diagnosis. Now, I have to say right up front, this is good for getting initial information or some clarity on information, but you should always see a real doctor. So my mom fell a few months ago and really hurt her shoulder. She got results back. Here are the results. And I wanted to actually just get a better understanding of what this meant. Now, obviously I can read this and I kind of understand most of it, but how should I be thinking about this? So let me show you what I did. I said, tell me about this diagnosis in simple terms. And it broke it down for me. No fracture or serious bone damage, mild arthritis, torn tendons, tendonitis, muscle changes, and so on. How bad is this for a 70-year-old woman? And these findings indicate significant chronic shoulder damage. So it went on and I clarified. I said the woman fell hard on her shoulder, gave me more information. Is it possible to heal by itself versus surgery? And yeah, I just use this all the time. Any test results I get back from the doctor, I always ask it first. Any pain or anything going on with me, I go to ChatGPT first. Very similar to using this for legal advice first, but then I always go to the human expert after, the lawyer, the doctor, etc. All right, another thing I use AI for is helping me with shopping comparisons. So oftentimes if I'm thinking about buying something, I do a ton of research up front. I find a few options that I really like, and I have AI help me break down the differences. So here's an example. Give me the specs and differences between the Galaxy S25 Ultra and the Pixel 9 Pro. So it broke it down, gave me a nice little table comparing the two, plus it gives me references for where it got the information from, gave me a breakdown of the key differences, and then I can continue and ask more questions. And the best part is you can get personalized recommendations. So you can say, okay, based on the fact that I make videos often and I'm gonna need to record on my phone, or based on the fact that I prioritize taking photos, or I want the fastest screen, whatever that is, you tell it and it will give you recommendations. So here's another example, Kindle Scribe versus Remarkable Paper Pro. And it compared the two. Writing experience, reading and display, ecosystem, battery performance, and it also gives you links to buy them. So really good for shopping comparisons, shopping recommendations. All right, next is trip planning. Trip planning can be very complicated, especially if you have a lot of dependencies, like here's where I wanna go, here are the general weeks I wanna go, I have kids, I want it to be less than 5 hours, I want the hotels to be within an hour of the beach. You can have so many dependencies and put them all together in ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using will deliver great recommendations. Check this out. So I want to travel to Europe, but I'm not sure where to go sometime in July. So we'll start very broad. All right, that's exciting. Here we go. Paris, France, Rome, Italy, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Santorini, Prague. And so I say, I want to go to Amsterdam. Great. Could you please provide me with the dates? Sometime in July, I don't care when. So it clarifies I want Amsterdam, Netherlands. Here it's now bringing me up different hotel options with the star ratings, the pricing, different deals they have. So I say, show me some luxury hotel options. It gives me some more, obviously much more expensive. I say, let's go with number 2. Excellent choice. And then it starts asking me about flights. Yes, I want first class, nonstop. I'm flying out of San Francisco. This is all made up, by the way. Gives me the flight information, the cost per ticket, everything. And I can go back and forth and have it plan my entire trip for me. And not only that, if you use ChatGPT Operator or other browser use agents, you could potentially have it book it for you as well. All right, next is using AI to improve your prompts. Rather than having to write out huge, very specific and detailed prompts, you can do something general and work with AI to have it write the prompt for you. Here's an example. So write me a prompt to create a calendar app that shows 1 week, hour by hour, ability to edit each hour and add task events. Now it's going to fill in all of the details, and if I don't like any of them, I can work with it and modify it as I go. So here it is. Create a simple interactive calendar web app that displays a 1 week view broken down hour by hour and so on. Features required, editable time blocks, persistent storage, and so on. I use this all the time, oftentimes for text to video, text to image, text to audio, even text to text prompts. I'm using AI to help me craft the prompts themselves. And last, reminders. Now, I don't personally use reminders, but Alex told me he uses them all the time. So Alex, show him what you use it for.
Yeah, I use reminders all the time in ChatGPT. I don't know about you guys, but when I use any sort of reminder app on my phone, it straight up doesn't send me the notification that I asked it to. Sometimes it'll remind you like an hour later than you needed, which just makes no sense. But with ChatGPT, my wife and I actually just bought a car back in February, and I just asked ChatGPT to remind me the day before a payment was due. I said, remind me at 3 p.m. the day before I have an upcoming car payment. This is every 11th and 25th of each month starting March 11th. And yeah, as you can see here, it's reminded me the day before every single car payment that I've had to make. I find ChatGPT's reminder system to be significantly better than pretty much any app that I've tried on my phone. Back to Matt.
So those are a ton of examples. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. I'm collecting all the use cases we can possibly find on the internet. I think AI is being underutilized, to say the least. And once again, thank you to Vulture for sponsoring this video. You get $300 off your first month using code Berman300. I'll drop all the links in the description below. Thanks again to Vulture. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.